Good day and good evening, depending wherever you are. And is Iran pursuing the plan or policy of depopulating Israel? And what is forcing megalomaniac pedophile Donald Trump to talk about a ceasefire? And he is requesting none other than President Putin to exert pressure on Iran for potential ceasefire in coming days. What is that? I will discuss on these two issues. And first, Donald Trump. Donald Trump has requested President Putin of Russia to exert pressure on Iran for a ceasefire, for an immediate ceasefire. Why? Because he is under tremendous pressure, not only from outside world, but from within his own congressmen or his power base that is in Washington. And even Zionist loyalists of Donald Trump, or those who egged or those who encouraged or forced Donald Trump to impose a war of aggression on Iran, they are now having second thoughts. And thus, Donald Trump is talking to President Putin and bringing him into this conflict, because Donald Trump knows that President Putin and President Xi of China, they are helping and supporting Iran's cause in many ways. Now, Donald Trump is talking about ceasefire because he knows the prices of oil are spiraling, and now the American people in America, they are feeling the heat of inflation, spiraling price hike, inflation. But Donald Trump is an unpredictable man, and there are reports from Israel that a brother of Benjamin Netanyahu has been killed in a strike by Iranian Khyber missile the other day. Such reports are yet to be confirmed, but some people claim that he was, and some sources within Israel, they claim, and even BBC has reported that he was killed in a car accident, the brother of Prime Minister Netanyahu. So things are moving towards a very interesting phase, because only 3 days ago, the ambassadors of Gulf Cooperation Council in Moscow, they called on Mr. Lavrov, who is the foreign minister of Russia, and they requested him to exert pressure on Iran and stop Iran from attacking Gulf nations. But like I've told you in one of my videos, that his response was quite blunt, and he put a counter question to the ambassadors that have you ever condemned the attack of United States and Israel on Iran? Have you condemned the killing of innocent girls in that school that was hit by American missile? And obviously they were left speechless. So now things, like I said, are moving towards a direction where Donald Trump is seeking a ceasefire. On the other hand, Iranians have outrightly rejected the possibility of any sort of ceasefire in coming days or in near future. There were talks about an imminent invasion or incursion of Iran by using Kurds, or by sending ground troops or boots on the ground into Iran. And today, an high-level Iranian official has confirmed to the press TV of Iran, he was reacting to the claims made by some American and Israeli sources about an air assault and ground incursion into certain sensitive areas and Iran's nuclear capabilities. The source said the Iranian security forces are ready for any eventuality. The source asserted that this window of opportunity will be very suitable for the Iranian forces to either kill a number of them or take them prisoners. And now a quote begins. We have been preparing ourselves for such a day for 20 years. Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, and some other places have been good exercises on the ground for facing such an enemy, he said in a conversation with the press TV of Iran. And Iran's press TV was quoting a high level source within the military of Iran. Now I will discuss about the depopulation plan of Israel. Some Americans think that Iran is basically pushing for that because out of 10 million population of Israel, 60% or 50%, roughly I think 60% or 6 million people live in Tel Aviv and Haifa, in only two cities. On the contrary, Iran is a country of 93 million people, and 10 million people live in Tehran only. So about 11 to 12% people of Irani population live in Tehran. On the other hand, 60% of people or the Israelis live in only two cities. So Iran is only concentrating and focusing on two cities, that is Tel Aviv and Haifa, and Iran's missiles are continuously targeting these two cities. Now there are reports that some Israelis are fleeing by boats, some by air, and there was chaos and commotion on one of the main airports, Ben Gurion Airport in Tel Aviv, and you can see these visuals. But I will leave you with this video clip of Scott Ritter, who is a former Marine, US Marine, and he says that he would love to see Israeli fleeing Israel because Israel does not belong to Israelis. And just listen to this clip.
I don't know if you saw, but Benjamin Netanyahu's residence was hit last night, and Ben Gvir's residence was hit last night. Benjamin Netanyahu's brother is reportedly dead, and Ben Gvir is reportedly severely injured and may not survive. Again, let me just pause because I'm overcome by emotion when genocidal maniacs have the tables turned against them. I will never shed a tear for anybody in Israel today. If you're in Israel today, you've made a conscious decision to remain in Israel as it's basically violated the law, committed genocide. It means that you are an active participant in an overall policy of greater Israel, which means you want to steal the land from sovereign nations that surround you. And to steal the land, you must depopulate the land. That means that you are going to carry out an Israeli version of Plan Ost, the Plan East, the Nazi plan to depopulate Belarus and in Western Russia, to eliminate millions of Slavs to make Lebensraum, living room for the greater German people. Israel is the modern manifestation of Nazi Germany. They are Nazis. This is not an exaggeration, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about literally the worst people on the planet. Literally the worst people on the planet reside in this artificial entity called Israel that no longer has a right to exist. Whatever the world thought about when they created Israel in 1948, that no longer exists because that Israel has become an illegal, parasitic attachment to humanity. And the fact that Iran is in the process of erasing Israel from the map of the earth, I'm not going to shed any tears. If you live in Israel, leave Israel. Leave. And when you leave, don't bring your sick ideology with you. Go and join other nations and hopefully integrate into them and live peacefully and harmonious, a long and fruitful life. But the idea of greater Israel driving a nation like the United States, nations in Europe, to commit acts of racist genocide, because this is what it is. This is literally about the white man's burden. This is white versus brown, straight up. And if you're an Arab and you don't know that, if you live in the Gulf Coast nations and you don't understand that you're just an inferior human being in the eyes of the Israelis, I mean, I as an American, a white American, know that. I'm a goy. Goyim. And they told me straight to my face, you're subhuman. Okay, I get it. That's why I hate you. And I will fight you because nobody wants to be called subhuman. But, imagine, being an Arab knowing that your government has bent the knee to Israel, knowing that they've agreed to the Abrams Accord, which perpetually subordinates the Gulf Arab states to Greater Israel, knowing that they have allowed Israel to call the shots, knowing that Israel has drawn them into a war that's now going to destroy their economies. I wouldn't be very happy. There's reports of the people in the streets of Bahrain seeking to overthrow the king. Please do. The model you should use is the model that was used against the Hashemites in Iraq. Yeah, I'm sorry, that meant the family was taken out, butchered, and dragged through the streets. But basically, that's what should happen to illegitimate royal families that have ruled only because they are the byproduct of British colonialism in the region. They have no legitimacy to rule. They're not anointed by God. They weren't selected by the people. They were picked by the British, and the British continue to manipulate them. And now the United States has taken over. Now Israel has taken over. So basically, the Arab people of the Middle East are governed by people who have allowed themselves to be subordinated to, neo-colonial actors, whether it's the British, Americans, or the Israelis. That's the truth. The only nation that doesn't do that is Iran. And that's why we're attacking Iran, because Iran doesn't play the game. Iran is a sovereign state. Iran does what the Iranian people want them to do. And they have a government that is supported by the Iranian people, which is why we will never overthrow it.